Ladies and gentlemen, lend me your ears and your eyes. Diva Divine Light, live from Brooklyn, New York.
With no delaying for what you saying, yo. Said it with my 9 million with the dilly, yo. When I be on my yes, I do my duty, yo. While up in the club, I be while in the studio. You don't wanna violate, nigga, really and truly, yo. My main thug, nigga named Julio, he moody, yo. I'm a nigga that'll slap you with the toolie, yo. Bitch, nigga scared to death, act fruity, yo. Fuck that, look at shorty, she a little cutie, yo. The way you shake it, make me wanna get all in the booty, yo. With no delaying for what you saying, yo.
Diva Divine Light.
Really my heart to me. See what you got for me. Put more than years with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. See what you got for me. Put more than years with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you.
You're watching Diva, the Divine Light. A fun-loving, caring, passionate person who talks about sex, celebrity, and real-life issues, and even abuse. So hit that like button and make sure you share the show.
Really my heart to me. See what you got for me. Put more than years with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. See what you got for me. Put more than years with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. See what you got for me. Put more than years with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. See what you got for me. Put more than years with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you.
Here comes the pitch, and it comes in wide. On the combo.
Hello, hello, hello. Perfect. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. It's your girl, Diva Divine Light, in the building. What's up to OCOV in the building? One color, one voice. Remember that. OCOV. One color, one voice. Okay? Okay. Hey, Purple Purple. How are you, sweetheart? God bless you. Candy, how are you, sweetheart? Miss you guys. What's up, Steady? What's up, Steady? Rock, rock, steady, grinding. What's up, y'all? October 21st. Okay. Again, my condolences to you, sweetheart. I know that's rough. I know you're going through a rough patch right now. If anybody would like to donate, Purple Purple, put your Cash App up for anyone who would like to donate to the funeral service. Maybe send some flowers, help her out with the arrangements and things of that nature. That would be a blessing. Thank you, guys. So, an update on Rkelly. There's always something new with him that goes on. Always something new. Well, maybe you'll say rest in peace as well to Miss Lena McLin. Hold on one second, y'all. Sorry about that, guys. My nephew just walked into the building. So so R. Kelly has some updates. There's always something new with this guy, but rest in peace to Miss Lena McLin, who was his music teacher in Kenwood High School. She passed away. I forgot what age it was. I believe it was 92 or 96, something like that. And she was also teacher to Jennifer Hudson, the Brat, one of the guys from The Sopranos. She worked with quite a few people. But you know what I noticed? That when they made the announcement about her passing, they did not mention that she mentored R. Kelly. They did not mention that she mentored R. Kelly. Go figure. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find the let me see if I can find the article real quick. All right. Okay. I'm praying it's here. If not, it's in, or it might be here actually. Okay. So, how's everybody's Friday doing? God bless everyone in the chat. Hope everybody's doing good. So, we got an update for R. Kelly. Let me see. Um, no, see where it go. Okay, gotta check this one. So, and Levi's still on a rant. I've been out here watching these streets roam. Yeah, no, I cannot. Mm, mm, mm. We got a psychopath on a war path. We got uh uh a guy who's all about me, 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 me. We got another one that's I'm the king of the crop, and then we got a psycho on the other end that talks through her neck, you know. It's this these streets are just like I can't take them anymore. These people are all fucking crazy. And Uncle Levi, I don't know, Levi. So I guess you're one of those people that R. Kelly is limited to be talking to besides his lawyers. So you're part of the crew that's allowed to speak to R. Kelly on a daily. Because Bonjean did say that his um his communications were limited. So yeah. So I guess you're on that list of limitations, right? That's what you're saying. Okay, yeah, here we go. I believe this is it here. Okay. I'm going to pause it. Right now it's on a commercial, guys. So you know how that shit is. Jet Blacks, what's up? What's up? What's up, honey bunny? What's up, my honey bunny? How you doing, Jet Blacks? Haven't seen you in a minute, bro. What's good with it? Cat, what's up, Cat? Okay, hold on. All right, I'm trying to get to the part where they talk about her. Okay, hold on. All right, there we go. I'm going to pause it here. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And let me know in the chat. Hey, Too Strong Warrior. What's up, baby? Yeah, the Three Stooges. Right. All right, Deb Black. That's what's up, Papi. You chillaxing? Listen, I just finished smoking my spliff. I'm ready to roll out on the YouTube streets, give out my little information, and be out. Never seen a man so proud to defend a man caught with young girls and boys, and that literally had them spreading feces on each other. Girl. Okay, you know, nowadays everybody's trying to, these people are here trying to spin narratives and stories that, oh, he likes to play with scat. No, it was punishment. 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 I can't with these people. They're all over the place. They just want to build a story for Rkelly to free him. Nothing is going to get his ass free. I don't care what nobody say. Period. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. Okay. So let's window, yeah. Okay. To share audio, it says share a tab or screen instead. Okay. Peter! What's up, chula? What's up, baby? Happy Friday to you too, my love. Yes. So, my girls are in the building. That's what's up. Okay, so now. All right. Can you guys see my screen here? Okay, hold up. Hold up. Okay. All right, that's the weird thing about this shit. Okay. Is I have to, it's weird, but I have to. Okay. Now, guys, once I start playing it, give me a thumbs up and let me know that you can hear the audio, please. If you don't hear the audio, please give me a thumbs down. Thank you. Or if there's an echo, let me know if there's an echo. All right. Okay.
Native Chicagoans, yes, but they have something else in common. They were students, among many others, of the Reverend Dr. Lena McLin, an extraordinary kid. Native Chicagoans, yes, but they have Khan, Jennifer Hudson, Shaka Khan, Jennifer Hudson, Manny Patinkin. Native Chicagoans, yes, but they have something else in common. They were students, among many others, of the Reverend Dr. Lena McLin, an extraordinary music educator and composer. She's died at the age of 95. Dr. Lena McLin had enormous pride in all the students she helped guide to musical excellence. Stars like Oscar winner Jennifer Hudson to younger singers just starting out.
I'm just happy to see them out there. And I'm happy to see them going on. And I thank God for allowing me to be some help in directing them.
Directing them well over a half century, many of those years at Kenwood Academy High School, where she built a powerhouse music program. After she retired from the classroom, she continued to teach in her home, as CBS 2's Harry Porterfield noted 10 years ago in his Someone You Should Know profile.
She just allows me to basically flourish as a singer. Without her and her technique, I don't think my voice would be as developed as it is now.
Dr. Lena McLin was also a minister and the niece of Thomas Dorsey, called the father of gospel music. Her spiritual foundation infused her teaching and her approach to countless students.
I'm just a strong believer in right, and a strong believer in love, and a strong believer in discipline, and a strong believer in understanding. Because I think everybody I see the good in them.
She did. Dr. McLin's students have excelled in a variety of musical genres, from the blues and R&B to jazz and classical music. The great blues singer Dietra Farr said today, "Everything I know about singing, I learned from her." Now, full disclosure, yes. I was a student at Kenwood High when she was there. I was not a musician. I wasn't in any of her classes.
Really?
And yet she had an interest in me simply because I was a student. And she always had extraordinary advice and encouragement.
Well, I was thinking, even if you're not a musician, just the inspiration from the way that she talks and how she motivates you, I could see being inspired by that.
She was a force at that high school and beyond.
That's great story.
Ready. 1 hour from now, the mock battle will begin on training.
So rest in peace to Dr. McLin. May she rest in peace. My condolences to her family. So she, as you can see, guys, that Rkelly was not mentioned. And it was funny how she said she sees the good in everyone. So they must have asked her probably about Rkelly, or maybe she mentioned about Rkelly, and they probably edited it out. Yeah. So rest in peace to her. She was 95 years of age. According to these streets, Rkelly helped pay for her mortgage, I believe it was, so that she doesn't lose her home. I don't know what the amount was. It was never mentioned or anything like that, but it's hearsay that she received money from Rkelly to help her keep her home. I think it was back in like 2015, something like that, 16, something like that. This is all alleged because I don't know for this really to be true, but considering that was one of his favorite people on the planet for him, I would hope that would be true, that he did a good deed, like that, even though he still didn't put a headstone on his mother's grave. I mean, so, you don't know which way to go with this guy because he's iffy. So here on the screen here, this was on September 26th. The United States Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit, which is the Chicago district, of Illinois, for his appellate case, the government unopposed motion for extension of time filed on September 25th of 2023 by counsel for the appellee. It is ordered that the motion is granted. Briefing will proceed as follows. Because they were supposed to have it in originally by the 2nd of October. But they requested, as you can see, for an extension. And now the brief by the government is due by October 31st. So on Halloween, God willing, we should be able to read the brief reply by the government to Bonjean's brief in the Northern District of Illinois case, where Rkelly was convicted to 20 years in prison. They were running concurrent with his 30-year sentence in New York. So in reality, you put them together and he only got 30 years. You know what I mean? Because he's got 20 plus 30, but it's not plus, it's run together. So once he finishes the 20 years, he's still got 10 more years to go, and then he could be released from prison. So technically, overall, he got 30 years. Okay. Overall, for both cases. Let's put it like that, because they're running concurrent. The judge was being nice. He didn't get life like it was expected to be if it ran concurrently, where he would get 195 years, or what was the other one, 120? Like we have Keith Raniere, who has the same charges, kind of like Rkelly with the sex trafficking, the Mann Act, and Keith Raniere got 129 years or something like that, and he's a white man, okay, and he was branding women, he was sex trafficking them for his own gratification, as well as he was I forgot what it was called, but he was like extorting money from them. Forgot. He was, it was forced labor and things like that, and all these things. A sexual exploitation in there as well. He had fraud and stuff like that as well in there. He had quite a few charges. Also, some of his co-defendants were in there as well. But they did separate their cases. So it was kind of like Rkelly, like a one-man enterprise. So yeah. So now we're waiting for the brief from the government for October 31st, 2023. And then Bonjean, if she wants to reply, the reply brief will be due from her on November 21st of 2023. Now we have the holidays coming up. So as far as this appeal, like I said, honestly, I think it will go into the calendar by sometime March of 2024. So that's what it is. Have fun. God bless you. Be careful. So, okay. Just wanted to give you guys that update on that. So what's going on? Nanya! Booby! What's up, mama? How are you, sweetheart? You haven't really had a chance to really talk to me, mama, but when you do, give me a call, okay? I'm here for y'all. Hey, Karen Johnson. What's up, baby? Long time, honey. Hey, Danny. How are you, honey? Long time no see. So that's what's going on with the appeals. Okay. Now, there has also been an update with the Northern District of Illinois, the restitution, the matter of the restitution. Okay. So, the Northern District of Illinois, the Eastern Division, Robert Kelly, the defendant, and Universal Music Group, which is the third party respondent. Okay. And our judge is Judge Lena Weber. Judge Lena Weber. Now, this is agreed motion of the United States for turnover order. So this is a turnover order. And it states that the United States of America, by Morris Pasquale, who is the acting United States attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, moves for a turnover order and in support states as follows. Number one, the court entered a restitution judgment against defendant Robert Kelly on March 7th of 2023. The judgment balance is $42,100 as of October 5th of 2023. Number two, the United States may use any federal or state procedure to enforce the judgment. Under the 18 U.S.C. section 3613A and F, a citation to discover assets directed to the respondent, Universal Music Group, was issued on May 18th of 2023, and Kelly was served on May 18th of 2023. So, number three, the third-party citation respondent, Universal Music Group, answered the citation on June 20th of 2023. So a portion of the answer is attached as Exhibit A. Universal Music Group stated in its answer that it had in its possession or under its control a royalty account belonging to Kelly at the time the citation was served. Based on Universal Music Group's answer, the United States is entitled to $42,100 to satisfy the remaining restitution liability because the funds are a non-exempt asset under the 18 U.S.C. 3613A, 28 U.S.C. 3205 C and 7. Now, the defendant, Rkelly, was also ordered to pay restitution to victims in the case United States versus Kelly, number 19 CR 268 EDNY, Judge Donnelly. Okay, So they're talking about the Eastern District of New York case, where R. Kelly also is ordered to pay restitution. So now, number 5 says that the United States, through its attorney for the Eastern District of New York, obtained a writ of garnishment against the same royalty account belonging to Kelly, held by Universal Music Group on August 23rd of 2023. You can see United States versus Kelly, 19 CR 268, Eastern District of New York, docket number 369, which is the order of garnishment. Number 6, that restitution judgment in the Eastern District of New York's case has been satisfied through funds in Kelly's royalty account. So, the restitution judgment in the New York case has been satisfied through funds in Kelly's royalty account. Now, counsel for Universal Music Group corresponded with the United States on October 5th of 2023 and stated that after it paid the restitution judgment from the Eastern District of New York, and after more funds were deposited into the royalty account, the balance of the royalty account was $467,459.52. The United States is entitled to $42,100 from Kelly's royalty account to satisfy the restitution obligation in this case. The clerk of the court collects all payments on monetary penalties imposed in criminal cases. Accordingly, all payments should have 19 CR 567 written in the lower left corner of the check and be submitted to the clerk of the court, United States District Court, Northern District of Illinois, at 219 South Dearborn Street, 20th floor, Chicago, Illinois, 60604. So the United States has provided all notices required by law, and counsel for defending Kelly has indicated that Kelly has no objection to this motion. Wherefore, the United States requests entry of a turnover order directing Universal Music Group to submit to the clerk of the court $42,100 from Kelly's royalty account to satisfy the restitution obligation ordered in this case. So, respectfully submitted by Mr. Morris Pasquale, the acting United States attorney. Also by Scott Heffron, who is the assistant United States attorney, who works in the office as well. So now they want the $44,000 that R. Kelly owes for Rashana Landfair and her case. So this here is the exhibit A that they were talking about, right? Here is the payee from Universal Music Publishing. This is the financial summary for the royalty period of July 1st from 2022 to the 31st of December from 2022. Here it says August 26th of 2022, payment of 1H22 royalties, payments of $442,203.96. So now December 31st of 2022, royalty Kelly Robert PKA Rkelly royalties, $330,786.70. And then another that same day on the 31st, all of this says the 31st of December 31st of 2022. So then there was something else for $9,507.18, $7,901.50. A 10th to 12th period, I guess, of royalties was $18,171.40. Another period of royalties was $1,137.27. And then it says here the 13th period of his royalties was $3,243.17. And then at the end, it says May 8th extends royalties, $13,093.22. So it says that the balance this period is $383,839.55. And this is from Universal Music Z Songs. Okay, and they're located in Colorado. In California, I'm sorry. Okay, and then this is the letter from Music Group, citing the third-party citation to discover their assets. And this was somebody from Universal Music under Scott Heffron is the attorney that they sent it to. And the attorney that the business and legal affairs from Music Groups, the paralegal, Elizabeth Ketchum. She's from Universal Music. So she wrote this down. She wrote this and she said that I write on behalf of Universal Music Publishing, Inc., otherwise known as UMPG, in response to the third-party citation to discover assets regarding the property and income of assets of the judgment debtor Robert Sylvester Kelly, dated May 17th of 2023, UMPG has conducted a thorough, good faith search of its records and is making a production of files we have on record pursuant to the citation. The production and declaration of custodian of records was provided to Scott Heffron via UPS. Okay, so they sent the documents in, and it says this letter is not a recitation of all the facts, defenses, or claims available to UMPG, and nothing contained in or omitted from this letter constitutes a waiver of any rights, all of which are expressly reserved. So this is the declaration that she signed. The lady from Universal Music Group. Hey, Cherie, what's up, baby? Amos, what's up, Amos? So, sorry guys, I need something to drink. So this is the declaration of custodian of records. And Elizabeth Ketchum, she hereby declares that under penalty of perjury, that the following statements are true and correct to the best of her knowledge and belief, and she is duly authorized custodian of records in the employee of Universal Music Group with authority to certify said records. So the accompanying records are the originals or true copies of records made and kept in the regular scope and course of my employer's regularly conducted activity and constitute all of the records called for in the citation heretofore served in this matter. So the entries contained in the original records were prepared by persons having actual knowledge thereof, or with information transmitted by a person with actual knowledge at or near the times of the occurrences of the matters which they purport to describe. So she signed this on the 20th day of June of 2023. All right. So certificate of service is that the undersigned Assistant United States Attorney hereby certifies that in accordance with the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 5, LR 5.5, and the General Order on Electronic Case Filing, the following documents: motion of the United States for turnover order, and were served pursuant to the District Court's ECF system as to ECF filers of any, and was sent by electronic mail by agreement on or by before October 10th to the following non-ECF filers, which is Universal Music Group. Okay. And this was written by Scott Heffron. Okay. So just wanted to give you guys that quick little update on what's going on with restitution with Rkelly. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, let me go around the corner, see what's going on. Hey, Flawless. What's up, baby? How are you, sweetheart? Good to see you, mama. Yes, if anyone would like to donate to Purple Purple, she's having funeral services this coming week. And if you would like to donate to her Cash App, Purple Purple, can you please put your Cash App in the chat again? If you would like to, donate so that she could put flowers at the funeral, or, you just want to help her out with funeral costs, or just show her love and support, please do. Okay. It's very, very much appreciated. It's rough to lose a child. He was a baby. So that's even harder, So like I said, you guys, if you would like to support her, please do so. Thank you. And so you know what, actually, before we get into the reading, all right, let me take this off the screen. I want to show you guys a video that I found. Okay. I have found this video, and it was talking about Surviving R. Kelly, the documentary. Okay, the first part, the very first one, when it first came out. And this was from the channel PBS, the public broadcast station. PBS, the public broadcast station. And they interviewed Angelo and some of the girls as well. So I thought it would be interesting to play this video and check it out before I get into the reading. That's what I want to do. Okay? So let's get into it.
My name is Lizette Martinez, Sasante,
Lisa Van Allen, Faith Rogers,
Kitty Jones. I am Rkelly.
I dated R. Kelly for 2.5 years.
Almost 13 years, married almost 10.
And I had an on and off relationship with R. Kelly for 11 months.
Seems like I just blinked and time went by, but yes, 13 years of my life with him. I was 17. I was a child. He took away my innocence. He took me off the path that I was on. He changed my life forever.
R. Kelly is this loving, fun guy that everybody see. But Robert, he's a devil. You pretty much had to have permission to do whatever, from eating to bathing.
That's who he is. When he was about to go there, when it was becoming abusive, his pupils would dilate and his shoulders would almost round. And I used to say he started to look like a cobra to me.
If I didn't get out of there, I was going to either end up killing myself or he was going to end up killing me. So,
standing on a balcony contemplating suicide. And that's when I knew I'm done.
I was only 19, 20 at the time, and what I was dealing with was way over my head and abusive.
What made me decide to end my marriage to Robert, on top of the abuse, was my children. I think the nail in the coffin for me, ironically, was thinking of seeing my daughter in a coffin, because so many women lose their lives to abusers. And I thought, what if one day she ends up with a man like this and he kills her? But that's what you taught her, Drea. She grew up in a house seeing her dad be abusive to her mom, and I was done. I don't know where the strength came from, but it did, thankfully. Once the story came out, just things have been really tough for me because, like you say, you're reliving this trauma.
for a long time, you'll blame yourself. What could I have done to prevent this? And then when you find out it wasn't just you, not only is it infuriating, but it's like, this guy's really sick.
It's not just about R. Kelly, it's about any other perpetrators like him, and for other women that's dealing with situations like the other women and myself have gone through.
I myself kind of want to be the support for other girls.
It's hard to look at another victim. I mean, it's just, for me, it's hard to, because I know what I went through. And when I hear their stories, it's just like his behavior has gotten worse. It's quite emotional for me. At the same time that I feel like I'm helping save lives, I'm also stepping out and speaking forward against the father of my children. But I thank God when I look back, because now my children are at an age that they can understand it and handle it. Sorry, I don't need to get emotional. They're my biggest supporters. They're the ones who tell me, Mom, you got to get out of bed today. They're the ones who tell me, Mom, tell your story because you're going to save somebody's life. This is going to crush their world because they have to come to the reality that this monster they describe is also your father. But my kids also told me, but Mom, the hero everybody sees is our mom. I'm just so angry that the music industry
has overlooked his predatory behavior. It's gone on for way too long.
His victims are minorities. People care a lot less.
It seems like because who he is and the Black community is always supporting him, they just keep thinking that we're doing it because we want money, or we felt like he left us and so it's about revenge. It's not about revenge.
It's not just about taking him down. It's about helping everybody else heal from this. And of course, I would love to see him in handcuffs, but that's going to take time.
There's something deeper than him just needing to go to jail. You know, confess to what he's done. I don't even care about an apology. I just want him to own up to the things that he's done, admit to the person that he is, and get some help.
The best advice I could give anyone is to love yourself first.
It's never too late to leave.
Just know that there's an end to it. You can leave and you can get out and you can survive it.
There is a life after abuse.
In 2002, Kelly was indicted for possession of child pornography after a tape surfaced that appeared to show him having sex with a teenage girl. A jury found him not guilty in 2008 after deciding they could not identify the girl. For many years, Kelly reached out-of-court settlements with women who accused him of abuse, some who signed non-disclosure agreements that kept them from speaking out about the allegations. However, after a 2017 BuzzFeed article reported Rkelly is keeping women against their will in an abusive cult, survivors and parents of victims have come forward with new allegations about his sexual, mental, and physical abuse. This is Angelo and Alice Clary, parents of Asriel Clary, who met Rkelly when she was 17.
How mom said she was secretly calling him behind our back. Now, we all know that's a lie. We all know that was a lie. She was talking back and forth with the mother. The mother was the one who started a conversation. She's the one who said she was 18. The daughter decided to go with the flow, keep that same energy.
She's supposed to be home. I called and she wasn't home yet.
And then that's where she exited.
Clary met the singer back in 2015. She was 17 at the time. Her parents claim that Kelly promised to help launch her singing career. They say they have learned since then that his real interest, in their words, was a little more sinister. I spoke with them yesterday about how this all started, and they say that just 3 days after meeting Rkelly, their daughter went to a hotel to meet him without their permission. They were furious and went knocking on hotel doors to find her.
What she said was, this was an audition. Why wouldn't you trust me? Y'all would think I would put myself in a predicament and not call y'all if something wasn't right.
She's saying you're messing up my chances.
Exactly. And that's exactly what she said. This is my opportunity. This is my big break.
Tempers eventually cooled, and the Clarys say they actually developed a professional.
So as we know in the text messages that, like the mom said, she said to her, oh, why are you, what was it she said? Asriel said in the text message, oh, you're ruining my opportunity. She said something like that in the text messages. So the parents did say that she said that. Let me see. This is May. That was in April, right? Right. See, April 21st. Wanted to go after school. And who did Kelly text you? Yep, he said he's staying on the tour bus, but he wants to get a hotel room for just y'all so y'all can get away from security and managers, etc. Oh, heck no. What the heck? You should have said, why a room? But yet she's saying that she didn't know that they were going to go to the hotel to meet up, that she just went on her own. Yeah, she has a whole conversation over here. And then she tells her to take off the ugly lipstick. I told you he don't want you to be grown. And this was the day of the audition. Then the mom is like, where are you? Why aren't you answering your phone? Hello, are you okay? Where are you? At this point, that's when Kelly told her to turn off her phone, as she did. And that's when he was like asking her all those questions. And she was like, no, I'm sweaty. No, I didn't shave. I don't feel comfortable, but okay. And she did what she was told because he said, after you help me out, this is where the coercion comes in. After you help me ejaculate all over your face, then I'll let you audition for me. But you have to let me eat your booty from the back and then let me ejaculate, and then you can sing for me. So in other words, he was telling her, you gotta give me the sex favor in order for you to sing for me. Coercing her, forcing her. Like, you do this for me and I'll do that for you. That's coercion. Okay. Coercion. He's being charged with coercion. Let's just remember that, okay? Besides the fact that he was this grown-ass old man in a hotel room with a minor, okay? Let's just remember that, all right? He was like almost 50 or 50 with a 17-year-old. I mean, come on now. So where is, okay, let's go back to the video. I'm going to rewind it just a little bit.
Real interest in their words was a little more sinister.
When she's supposed to be home, I
Went to the corner where the VIP was.
I was really shocked.
Rkelly met the singer back in 2015. She was 17 at the time. Her parents claim that Kelly promised to help launch her singing career. They say they have learned since then that his real interest in their words was a little more sinister. I spoke with them yesterday about how this all started, and they say that just 3 days after meeting Kelly, their daughter went to a hotel to meet him without their permission. They were furious and went knocking on hotel doors to find her.
What she said was, this was an audition. Why wouldn't you trust me? Y'all would think I would put myself in a predicament and not call y'all if something wasn't right.
She's saying you're messing up my chances.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what she
So
said.
that's what-
This is my opportunity. This is my big break.
Tempers eventually cooled, and the Clarys say they actually developed a professional relationship with R. Kelly over the next few months, even pitching various business deals, all of which he rejected. The Clarys say the singer had his own proposal. Let Azriel join him on his tour full time.
He flew up.
You see what he did there? That's crazy. He's still coerced her anyway.
Us in Chicago. We sat with him in his studio. We met with him. And he basically told us, yeah, I'm starting tour. Basically, y'all need to make a decision.
Azriel had dreams of becoming.
She said that they met with him. She said they met with him. So that must have been when the mom went to the hotel and was there with them. That they must have spoke about the business arrangements and this, that, and the third. And, can we work for you? And blah, 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 and all that and that. That's probably when all that started happening.
A singer, according to her parents, who say she dealt with personal struggles, including a suicide attempt following a bad breakup. That was before she met R. Kelly. She eventually gave her parents an ultimatum. She says, if you don't allow me to go, I will try to take my own life again, or I will run away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't want to call her bluff on it because I know she just attempted this previously. I'm thinking in my head, she only got 3 more months. She's going to be 18, so she can do what she wants. And she really carry out this. And then now I'm living with regret for the rest of my life.
From the outside looking in, guys, people will still say, you're allowing your 17-year-old daughter, who at the time is underage, to go with R. Kelly. The perception is that he preys on underage girls. Did that give you any kind of pause whatsoever?
That gave me pause. I mean, it gave me awareness, but you talking about a young lady that's raised by 2 parents going
So you're
to
saying you
event.
trusted her?
Did you
I didn't
notice
trust
Alice's face?
him. What I trusted was I raised my child right. I trust my daughter was
daughter, who at the time is underage, to go with R. Kelly.
If you notice, you listen to Alice, she's like, like, she knows this already. She knows she fucked up. She knows she don't want to hear the I told you so. So she's like, like, yeah, that's what it is. Yup. And then right before Angelo gets ready to speak, I'm going to pause it. And I want y'all to look at her face, how she side eyes him.
The perception is that he preys on underage girls. Did that give you any kind of pause whatsoever?
That gave me pause. I mean, it gave.
All right, now, you seen how she went and she looked at him and then she put her face down, right? And he said, it gave me pause. And she has that face like, yeah, it gave you pause. That's why me and you've been fighting about, probably. But mom was too eager to get her daughter to get into the door. And the dad went along for the ride. This is what I'm seeing. I don't know what anybody else seeing, but I see it was more of the mom pushing her more than the dad. The dad was just there. He was involved. He was the guy who was willing to go in front of the cameras because after all of this had happened, mom was just embarrassed. So she did not want to go into the spotlight anymore. She was done with it. So I think Angelo was just like, well, don't worry about it. I got this. I'm going to control the narrative. I'm going to be out there. Fuck this, fuck that, fuck the people, fuck R. Kelly, blah, blah, blah. What's the story? right? We got to try to keep it that way, right? You know, that's what I think. Hey, puzzle pieces, what's up, mama? You know, so let's continue.
Gave me awareness, but you talking about a young lady that's raised by two parents going.
So you're
to a
saying you
dance.
trusted her?
I didn't trust him. What I trusted was I raised my child right. I trust my daughter will be honest with us. And this was strictly her music. R. Kelly had a platform as big as music can ever give somebody. I didn't see the label stop supporting him.
And you told me that you saw him working with other young women.
Yes.
Last week, Kelly blamed Azriel's parents for their own estrangement.
What kind of father, what kind of mother will sell their daughter to a man?
3 months before Azriel turned 18, the Clarys signed a letter giving their consent for her to go on Kelly's tour and stay with a woman named Valerie Denise Payton. Who is Valerie Payton?
It ain't R. Kelly. It's
Now we know that it's two letters. There was a written one, and then there was one that they actually had drawn up by a lawyer or typed themselves, and they wound up getting it notarized. And that's the letter that went through officially, that was also an exhibit in the trial. So they had two of the letters. They had the one that was written, and they had the one that was typed up. Okay.
it's not Robert Kelly.
But does she work with R. Kelly?
She's supposed to work for the label.
Kelly blamed Azriel's parents for their own estrangement.
What kind of father, what kind of mother will sell their daughter to a man?
3 months before Azriel turned 18.
Now, why would he say sell their daughter to me? Why would he say that? Like, you're admitting to human trafficking. You're admitting to buying children. You're making it seem as if the parents made a trade-off with you. They made a trade-off like, listen, we'll give you $20,000 to take our daughter, okay? And make sure you abuse her, okay? And make sure that she becomes your sex slave, okay? And you can do whatever you want with her, okay? Here's $20,000 for you to take my daughter. Is that not what I'm understanding R. Kelly to be saying? Can anybody out there tell me if I'm right or am I wrong? Let me know if I'm right or if I'm wrong. Like, what the hell is going on here? And in this letter, it was signed on September 21st of 2015. And it says, we, the parents of Azriel Clary, give consent for Azriel to stay with Valerie Denise Payton until December 30th, a day before her 18th birthday, because her birthday is December 31st of 2015, in which she will be under her care during the stated time, which was from September to December. So October, November, December, for 3 months, she was going to be gone.
The Clarys signed a letter giving their consent for her to go on Kelly's tour and stay with a woman named Valerie Denise Payton. Who is Valerie Payton?
It ain't R. Kelly. It's not Robert Kelly.
But does she work with R. Kelly?
She's supposed to work for the label. We found out later on that she works for R. Kelly.
But at the time you signed this, you thought she was.
He told us it was someone
she was
affiliated
from-
with the music
From
label.
Sony.
Okay.
Correct.
So you thought she would be a chaperone for
Correct.
your daughter.
That's what she was supposed to have been.
Okay.
And we found out later there was no truth in that.
I think in retrospect, many of these parents were too trusting.
Michael Avenatti is representing the Clarys. He claims R. Kelly used his celebrity status to manipulate the families and the women.
If what you're alleging is true, how is he able to get away with this for this period of time?
He surrounded himself with a bunch of people, a bunch of yes men and women that would provide assurance and comfort to these parents relating to the fact that their daughters were going to be safe, that their daughters were going to be looked after, that all of this was legit, that R. Kelly could be trusted.
From people in the inside, some of the other victims that we talked to, they all said that the girls have to prove their loyalty to him by any means necessary.
He's the problem. He don't have a sickness. He made a choice.
And this is what you guys fail to realize. It was not just R. Kelly that was doing this. It was not only just him and his handlers and his cohorts and whatever you want to call him.
It was my daughter,
It
too.
was also our daughter, because you have to understand, she was lying and duping us and pulling the wool over our eyes from the beginning.
When you look back on it, what do you think the mistakes that you made? Do you take any
I
responsibility
take
for
full
the situation that you're in?
responsibility. We never denied responsibility. I feel like I failed my daughter.
So he says that they take full responsibility. So they take full responsibility. So why is it that they had to lie? Why is it that they couldn't come out and tell the truth and say, well, listen, this is how it happened. In the beginning, we figured we'd do this, we'd do that, just to see where he was going with it, to feel him out. So I decided to pretend I was my daughter. And I realized he was being sexual with my daughter. But then we were comfortable enough to send her off because she was going to be 18 soon. And if he decided to have sex with her, then it would be okay. But until then, she had to be chaperoned. I mean, they could have been honest. Hey, the hell, what's up, mama? They could have been honest from the jump. We just wanted our daughter to make it in the industry. We thought R. Kelly would do it. We didn't think that he would be abusing her. He did seem to have a lot of interest in her. And yeah, she committed suicide allegedly and tried. And so we decided to give her her wish and go work with this man because we were afraid of what she would do. Like they didn't show any records saying, look, this is the paperwork of her being in the hospital, blah, blah, blah. Like just to vet it, who knows if Gayle King even vetted that part of the story, and yeah, the parents are partially responsible for letting their daughter go with this predator. Now, Levi keeps fighting and fighting and fighting, but at the end of the day, you're fighting because R. Kelly was happy to be with this little girl. Is that what it is? Like, what are we happy about? What are we fighting about? R. Kelly wanted to be with this little girl. That's why he said, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. I'll talk to my lawyer. He sent her home and then he had her come back because he already had her trapped in his little web.
No.
Hi, Mama.
Yo, what he's doing in that room is
daughter because I should have saw.
Realized it was not just R. Kelly that was doing this. It was not only just him and his handlers and his cohorts and who, whatever you want to call him.
It was my daughter
It
too.
was also our daughter, because you have to understand, she was lying and duping us and pulling the wool over our eyes from the beginning.
When you look back on it, what do you think the mistakes that you made? Do you take any
I
responsibility
take
for the
full
situation that you're in?
responsibility. We never denied responsibility. I feel like I failed my daughter because I should have saw different signs. I should have saw the change in my baby girl.
How do you think this story is going to end with your daughter?
How I want to see it end, I want to see my daughter leave.
Of course, but are you concerned about how it could end? Are you?
I've heard like a suicide pact. You know, I know my daughter.
A suicide pact?
Yes, I've heard all kinds of stuff. So, you know,
That gives me chills, Alice.
It should give you chills
It
because
does.
the difference is our daughter had experience with trying to do it. See, everybody else can talk it, but it's nothing like seeing a father coming in the house and seeing your daughter submerged in water and you have to pick her up and try to get her to the hospital. So I've been through that. So while everybody else may take this lightly and, oh, they just throwing something out there, it's real life for us.
This series is discussion, the father of Rkelly, who met Rkelly at the age of 17, moved in with him with hopes of advancing her music career. He hasn't seen his daughter in almost 4 years. Angela, thanks so much for joining us from Las Vegas. Can you talk about what has happened to Rkel, what you understand took place?
Yes, I can. I think the situation with Azriel was more of a personal situation that the world don't really know about. It was a lot going on with Azriel prior to meeting R. Kelly. And that's what led up to her being able to go to the show with us and had to be at the show with us for her to even attend the show. Moving right in, she never moved right in. We had a open conversation with R. Kelly after the event that took place, and he gave her his phone number, and they started talking, I think, on a Sunday to each other. And on that Sunday, we had no idea that they was texting and already starting a relationship. That Monday, she's supposed to have been in school, and then she wound up not being in school, in class. So when we called, she drive to school. She always drove through high school. So she was didn't report home at the right time. So I think my wife called, and then she called me and told me that Az wasn't home. So I called my son, who also went to school. And that's how we figured out she wasn't at school. We found out she left school early, and then we blew up her phone. Just kept calling. No answer. When we finally got our answer from her phone, she sent her mother a text and said she had a audition with R. Kelly. She had to leave school. She had to go over there and meet with him. So we was like baffled. So she told my wife that. My wife called me, said, hey, she at the hotel with R. Kelly. We need to get there. I leave work. She leave work. We wound up meeting at the hotel in Kissimmee, Florida, where we see his tour bus, my daughter's car. We go in there, went to the registration, asked them for R. Kelly. Nobody knew that where he was, or he was under that name, and they don't have a celebrity here. You know, they have to protect the celebrity. So we understood that. So we went in and started going door to door. Security was called, police was called for us disturbing the hotel. The security finally went up and found our daughter, went door to door, pulled the rooms. He had like a top floor with about 7, 8 rooms, and they found him and my daughter in the room together. We came down, they brung her down. Some kind of way they didn't bring him down. And the next thing we asked the officer there, where was Rkelly? He was like, he's supposed to be on his way down, but he never came down. So we heard that he left. He went out the back door or whatever, he was gone. We was more concerned about our daughter at that time. We talked to her, asked her, you know, she put on this show for us, you know, hey, this is my career.
So we all know that didn't happen according to testimony, right? Because supposedly the cops went upstairs. Yes, the parents did call the cops because she was taking too long. She was supposed to be down within a half an hour or so. She wasn't answering her phone. So then that's when the mother decided to call the cops. The parents were there. The mother was there. The father was on the way there, meeting at the roundabout or whatever, right? Now, according to the testimony, Azriel stated that she never went down. She spoke to her parents on the phone. And she let her parents know that she was fine and she'll be down when she was done. Then what happened? Everybody left. Everything was copacetic. Rkelly got to nut. Okay? He got a chance to bust that nut. Supposedly, she didn't even go to school the next day, according to the text messages. So let's continue to listen to this. Thank you, Puzzle Pieces.
Don't have a celebrity here, you know, they have to protect the celebrity. So we understood that. So we went in and started going door to door. Security was called, police was called for us disturbing the hotel. The security finally went up and found our daughter, went door to door, pulled the rooms. He had like a top floor with about.
See, he said it was security. He said it was security who went up there, door to door, to find Rkelly and where his daughter was.
7, 8 rooms, and they found him and my daughter in the room together. We came down, they brung her down. Some kind of way they didn't bring him down. And the next thing we asked the officer there, where was Rkelly? He was like, he's supposed to be on his way down, but he never came down. So we heard that he left. He went out the back door or whatever, he was gone. We was more concerned about our daughter at that time. We talked to her, asked her, you know, she put on this show for us, you know, hey, this is my career. He called me, you know, this is what it was. He asked me for an audition. I was like, yeah, but you know, you only supposed to went without telling one of us, period. I mean, we already talked about who he was, his background on the way home. When she told us that he gave her his number after the show, when she went on stage and sung for him. So, you know, after that, we talked to her, went home. And then, which we didn't know, that they had already had a sexual intercourse that day. We found out a year later.
Your daughter was 17 years old?
18. She was 17 in Kissimmee.
We have to wrap up this
Florida.
segment of our interview, Angelo, but we're going to do part 2 and put it online at democracynow.org. But you have said that you don't think this could continue if these children weren't Black girls and young women. Can you explain as we end with this comment?
I think the comment was this straight blunt that if the females was Caucasian, this would have been, it wouldn't have been to this amount of women or young girls kids or anything. It'll stop at 1, maybe 2 tops. I think in the Black community that we want heroes, and we so scared to demolish somebody because of the good they make us feel with whatever talent they have, that we don't want to be the one to say, hey, we got to destroy them. And I think this is why it really drug on as long as it did, and he was so successful at getting away with it.
People have no idea that there's
Ah, boy. So much confusion. It's unreal. I'm guys, I'm trying my best to retrieve some stuff. We gotta know more than what we know. There's so many missing parts to this case that we don't know. So let's just pray on it that I get what I want to get. Okay. Okay. So we're going to go over her transcript. All right. Last page we had left it on was like 796, but I'm going to go back a little bit. Okay. So now this is Jane Doe number 5's testimony. This is her direct examination from the prosecutors. Okay. So now she asks her, she says, what, if anything else, did the officers say during that encounter? Jane answers, basically, after they did check my ID, they left and they had given the defendant a card and said anytime he was in Orlando and needed security to let them know. The prosecutor says, now you said that you showed the officers your identification, your ID. Did you show them your true identification? She said, yes, it was my driver's license. So she showed her true ID. The officers didn't even take an account to look and say, yeah, she's 17. She's not 18. Why are you in this room with this little girl? She needs to go, like now. That didn't happen. They were so fucking starstruck, they didn't even give a fuck. And she says, yes, it was my driver's license. The prosecutor says, and based on your identification, how old were you? How old did it show that you were? She said 17 years old. The prosecutor said, did the officers then leave? She said, they did, yes. What happened after the officers left? She said the defendant wanted to proceed because he still needed to come. And by come, do you mean ejaculate? She said, yes, I do. She said, what happened then? She said, we persisted. And then he made me get back on top of him backwards, and then he ejaculated. She said, what happened after the defendant ejaculated? She said, after he ejaculated, I was able to put back on my clothes, and he did allow me to sing. There's the coercion. She said, what did you sing for the defendant? She said, I sung Mama Knows Best by Jessie J, which was a ballad. She said, how, if at all, did the defendant react after you sang for him? She said, he seemed very impressed. And he said that I had a great voice and that I had a lot of potential. He said, the prosecutor said, what, if any, future plans did you make with the defendant that evening? Here goes the coercion. He did say that he would like to see me again and teach me a few techniques. The prosecutor says, you testified earlier that when you saw the defendant perform at that concert in Orlando, he was performing as part of a tour. Did you learn what type of venues the defendant was performing at as part of that tour? She said, yes, it was stadium shows and a lot of outdoor festivals. And where were those shows? She said, in multiple cities and states throughout the country. She said, yes. She said, now, at either the Dolphin Hotel where you first met the defendant or in the few days thereafter, what, if any, plans did you make with the defendant? She says, Jane said, he had to leave and that once he left, he would want me to come out to the next city that he was in. She said, and did you continue to communicate with him by phone? She said, I did, yes. She said, how? She said, via text message and phone calls. She said, after you met with the defendant at the Dolphin Hotel, did your mother continue to text the defendant pretending to be you, as far as you know at least? She said she did not. So the mom stopped texting Rkelly the first 2 days or 3 days. After that, she stopped, according to the girl. Now the prosecutor says, thank you, Aunt Miss. Love you too, puppy. Now, in the few days after you met the defendant, do you recall sending the defendant a video? She said, I do. What video did you send the defendant? The defendant had asked me to send a video of me singing in my underwear and bra. And did you do that? She said, I did. Yes. So now Rkelly is exploiting her. This is where the sexual exploitation comes, right? He's exploiting her to sing for him in underwear, okay? Sexually exploiting her. Okay? So we already saw a part of coercion. Now we're seeing a part of exploitation. Okay? What, if any, other videos did you send the defendant? She said, I sent him videos of me dancing, singing, and more videos of me performing. Did you send the defendant any professional videos of you? She said, I did, yes. What did you send him? She said, I sent him my unreleased single that my parents had paid for, and I had asked him for his input and his opinion. What was the name of the unreleased single that you had sent to him? She said, the single was called Liar, Liar. And why did you send it to the defendant? She said, well, it was going to be my first single release, and I had just got back the final edit, and I genuinely wanted his input. And who had you said you performed on that video? Is that correct? She said, it was more like a video, a music video. So it was like me and friends from high school. It was shot professionally. The prosecutor asked, and how did the defendant respond to that video after you sent it to him? She said, he liked it. He said that he did like it, and that it was cute and that it wasn't, too grown or too sexy and that he liked it. She said, now you said that the defendant proposed seeing you again at another stop on his tour. Is that right? She said, he did. Yes. Okay. Here's another part of coercion. He asked her. Okay, she didn't ask him. He asked her. The defendant proposed seeing you again at another stop at his tour. Is that right? He did. Yes. Did the defendant explain to you how you would get to the next stop on his tour? Yes. What did he tell you? He had given me a number and he told me specifically what to text to that number. And what did he tell you to text to that particular number? She says, Jane says, he told me to say, Mr. Kelly said to get me to whatever city that he was in at that time. There goes your enticement, your persuading. Okay? Enticement and persuading. Okay? These are the elements that the prosecutors needed to prove. This isn't just testimony where she's just saying what happened and answering questions. The prosecutors are going along proving element by element, part by part, breaking it down. I don't understand how people don't understand what the fuck is going on in this case. I don't get it. How can you people miss this and say that they didn't prove anything? For me, they did. If you go and research and understand these words like coercion and enticement and inducement and persuasion, if you learn these words like exploitation and sex trafficking and the Mann Act, if you go and you do your research, you will understand what is happening in the case. If you don't research that, if you don't research the actual codes that he has violated under the law, you won't understand what's going on with this case. You're just going to go by, oh, well, she said and he said and they said and that lie and boop-a-doop, ba-doop. Got people all popped. Stop it. Now, the prosecutor asks her, do you recall the first state that you traveled to see the defendant? She said, I do not. Now, the government is showing text messages. Okay? Government Exhibit 233C. Now, remember, the only way that they are allowed to use these exhibits is to make a person recall what was said or done. They can only use certain parts of what they need to corroborate their facts of the story that they are telling to the jury and to the public. They only use text messages and things of this nature and paperwork to show someone's recollection of things that happened. Because you might have forgot, but you know what? We got this here that says otherwise. Let me refresh your memory. Okay? They weren't going to use all parts of the text messages. They only needed to use what they needed to use. Okay? And what we see is Government Exhibit 233A. Not C. There are different parts of these exhibits. There's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Whatever letter they feel like attaching behind it. So let's understand this shit, okay? Now, the prosecutor says, I'm showing the witness only what's been marked for identification as Government Exhibit 233C. Does reviewing 233C refresh your recollection as to where you first traveled to see the defendant? And Jane says, it does, yes. Now the prosecutor can continue with her questioning, because now this is fresh in her mind that this did happen, and this is what happened. Now she says, what state did you travel to? She said, I traveled to California. She said, in what city in California? She said, Los Angeles. Now, approximately, when did you take this trip? She said, I took this trip on the 28th of April. And was that in 2015? She said, yes. Now, April 28th. Okay. Now, when we go to the text messages, okay, now when we go to the text messages, they start from Mom Dukes on April 28th of 2015, where Mom texts Jane and says, let me know when you make it to school. You should have rode with your dad. Did you tell Kels? Now, Jane responds to Mom and says, nothing. He told me call him, but I am after school. So now she's asking her, did you tell Kels? Okay. Now, it started at 7:02 a.m. is when Mom hit up Jane. And then at 10:40 a.m. is when Jane hit back Mom. So it took her almost 3 hours to hit Mom back up. Then Mom hits her back up and says, okay, you left school? Hello? Are you okay? Jane says, yes, driving home. She asked her at 2:35 p.m., you left school? Hello? Are you okay? She said, yes, driving home. Mom says, okay, call my desk phone when you get home. Okay. And this was on the 28th. Let's see where else it talks about. Okay, now. Okay. All right. Now, an outgoing text message on April 28, 2015 at 7:07 p.m. There was an outgoing text to Mr. Kelly's assistant, whoever she was at the time. And Jane texts the assistant, Mr. Kelly said to get me to LA, a early flight. My name is Azriel Dolores Clary. I'm in Orlando, Florida currently. Then the assistant responds to her a minute later and says, okay, please send me your date of birth for air travel. Travel tomorrow or question mark. Now, she's giving her information of how old she is and her full name so that she can make travel arrangements for Jane to meet up with Mr. Kelly in California on the 28th of 2015, where she was still 17 years old. Now, just a few minutes later at 7:11 p.m., Jane responds to the assistant and says, December 30th of 1997. Now, she just gave the assistant her date of birth. And excuse me, correction on what I said earlier. Azriel's birth date is December 30th. So she was supposed to return on the day of her 18th birthday back to her parents, according to the permission slip. Okay. So Jane continues to say that her birth date is December 30th of 1997. And she says, yes, a flight for tomorrow. So she let her know, yes, it's for the air travel. And the flight will be for tomorrow. Then the assistant hits her back up at 8:01 p.m., almost 40 minutes later, and says, 50 minutes later, something like that. She says, okay, got it. Then Jane texts back at 8:37, 36 minutes later, and said, thanks. The assistant texts her back 2 minutes later and said, I will have your travel booked before 10 p.m. Is that okay? Jane says at 8:41 p.m. At night? Is there an earlier flight? The assistant hits her back up a minute later and says, I will have your travel booked and information sent over to you in a couple of hours. You will travel tomorrow. Jane hits the assistant back up 4 minutes after and says, yes, thank you. Will this be for a round trip flight? Then the assistant hits her back up at 8:46 p.m. and says, okay, and yes, you are confirmed on American Airlines to depart Orlando at 7 a.m. and you arrive in Los Angeles at 9:25 a.m. Your confirmation number is I will send you a full itinerary shortly. And then at 10:13 a.m., Jane replies to the assistant and says, "Thank you. You are confirmed on American Airlines," so she just copied it and pasted it. Okay. Then Jane tells the assistant texts Jane at 11:20 p.m. on the 28th of April, "You're welcome." So there is the corroboration of evidence to show that R. Kelly paid for and arranged for this travel for this young lady, because he gave his assistant the go-ahead to do these things, to make these travel arrangements for the 17-year-old girl to meet him out in California so that he can coerce her into having sex with him, so that he can persuade her that this is all being done to help her career. You see where this is going? You see how this is working for those who are in the background, way in the back, who don't understand what happened in these testimonies and how the prosecutors were proving their elements of the case? Now, again, the prosecutor asks her, "And what city in California?" She said, "Los Angeles." The prosecutor says, "Now, approximately when did you take this trip?" She said, "I took this trip on the 28th of April. And was that in 2015? She said, "Yes." "Were you still finishing your junior year in high school when you took this trip?" She said, "Yes, I was." "Did you take more trips to see the defendant on this tour?" She said, "I did, yes." More travel. The Mann Act. He was traveling from state to state with this young lady, purposely to coerce her to have sex with him and to persuade her to have sex with him for her career. The prosecutor says, "While you were still in your junior year of high school, generally speaking, what days would you travel to see the defendant?" She said, I would usually travel the weekend, but sometimes it would go over and lead into Monday. The prosecutor says, "And would you miss days of school as a result of this?" She said, "Yes, I would." So the parents knew that she was missing school because she was traveling with R. Kelly. The parents knew about her sneaking around because they knew what was going on. So she wasn't sneaking around. The parents knew she was traveling to go see R. Kelly. So that was a lie in the whole testimony of the parents. When the parents were doing their testimony out on these streets, to news reporters, to mainstream media, YouTube, they were out doing their own testimony, spinning their own narrative so that they don't look bad. Now, the prosecutor says, "You testified that the defendant told you to send a text message to someone to arrange travel. Who do you understand you were sending a text message to? She said, it was an assistant who worked for the defendant? She said, yes. Did you learn her name? She said her name was Cheryl Mack. So she was dealing with Cheryl Mack. And Government Exhibit 38 is a picture of Cheryl Mack. So Cheryl Mack was his assistant in 2015. Okay. Now, the judge put that into evidence. The 233C, the text message, as well as the Exhibit 38, which was Cheryl Mack, a picture of Cheryl Mack. Okay. So now, the prosecutor says, so what, if any, information did you provide to Cheryl Mack when you first sent her a text message asking to arrange your travel? She said, Jane says, I said to her the city that I was currently departing from, and I sent her my birth date. Now, that is the text message that we saw just now that I just showed you in Government's Exhibit 233A. Okay? So now she says, and who did you understand? Who paid for your travel to Los Angeles to see the defendant? She said, the defendant. The prosecutor says, you testified that you provided your name and your birth date, correct? She said, yes, I did. Now the prosecutor says, did you provide your true birthday? She said, yes, I did. The prosecutor says, showing that you were 17 years old? She said, yes, I did. So now, my question is, did Cheryl Mack bother to tell Rkelly that Jane Doe number 5 was really 17 years old? Did she confront Rkelly with that? Did she mention that to him? I don't even remember Cheryl Mack's testimony. Like, I really don't. The dad knew everything. The dad knew everything. He knew what was going on. He just wasn't as involved as everybody thinks he is. Because if you looked at that document that I just showed to you guys, if you realize in one point he says, well, you know, this happened, I think that happened. He's not sure. Like I said, he is the one who decided to stand in the gap, to step out into the spotlight for his family, because Alice was tired of doing it. She did what she did, couldn't deal with all the backlash because people were breaking down their shit little by little, and she didn't want to be thrown to the wolves. So Angelo did the right thing by protecting his family, by coming out into these streets and doing what he did, right? Because that's the right thing for him to do, right? But on top of all of that, he was trying to protect his wife. The daughter, Isis, didn't even know about these things. Why? Because she was thrown out of the group chat. The father was thrown out of a group chat. And there was just a chat between her and the mother. And then there was a chat between her, the mother, and the father. And then there was a chat between the whole family. So let's not forget that, okay? Right. Like I said, this is more about the mom than it is the dad. And I'm telling you, I don't know what you guys think, but let me know what you guys think about this. Now, Ms. Getty says, Your Honor, may we publish to the jury only Government Exhibit 233C, which is now in evidence? She said yes. She said, generally speaking, what is shown in 233C? And Jane says, it's me letting her know what city I am leaving from, which is Orlando, and then me sending her my birthday stating 12/30/1997. Now, the prosecutor says, are these text messages that you exchanged with Cheryl Mack? She said, yes, it is. And what are the dates of these text messages? She said, it is April the 28th of 2015. She said, without reading your name in line 6802, can you read that first line where my pen is pointing? Now, let's look at 6802. Let's see if we can find 6802. Oh, there's no 6802 here. Unless it's going up more. Hold on, because then the numbers are going back. Oh, okay. All right, here we go. 6802 is this very top one where it is April 28, 2015 at 7:07 p.m. where Azriel makes the outgoing call that says, Mr. Kelly said to me, Mr. Kelly said to get me to LA, an early flight. My name is Azriel Dolores Clary. I'm in Orlando, Florida currently. Okay. That's 6802. That is line 6802. Okay. That's where they pointed that out. And now Jane says, yes, Mr. Kelly said to get me to LA, an early flight. My name is Jane. I'm in Orlando, Florida currently. She says, the prosecutor says, and did Cheryl Mack then arrange for you to travel from Orlando, Florida to Los Angeles the following day? She said, yes, she did. Then Ms. Getty says, I'm showing the witness what's been marked for identification as Government Exhibit 217. Do you recognize 217? She said, I do. All right. 217 was published into evidence. 217 is the flight ticket from Orlando to LA. Okay. And is this for a flight on April 29th of 2015? She said, yes, it is. And is this for yourself? She said, yes. And was this ticket booked by the defendant's assistant, Cheryl Mack? She said, yes, it was. The prosecutor said, did you see the defendant did you see the defendant when you arrived in LA, like during the trip? She said, yes, I did. Now, do you remember where you first saw him during the trip? She said no. So even if you don't remember where you first saw him, where do you recall seeing him while you were in LA? She said in the hotel at his shows. Did you attend his shows in LA while you were there? She said, I did. She said, I did, yes. And you said you also saw him at the hotel. She said, yes. She said, what happened at the hotel room where you saw the defendant? She said, he did express that he wanted to teach me a few techniques. However, he needed to ejaculate again before doing anything. You see? You see the coercion again? A sexual favor. A favor for a favor. Before you go to the show, I need to relieve myself on you. Okay? This is part of the tour. This is what happens on the tour. So he's grooming her to accept that this is normal behavior for someone in the industry like him. Okay? This is where the grooming technique and the persuasion comes in. The coercion, the enticement. Yeah, baby, go eat it. So then the prosecutor says,
Dinner's ready.
oh, it is? Papi, you want to eat dinner?
What is it? Yes. Yes.
All right. Now, give me 1 second. I thought Daddy made pasta. Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. Josh, hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. We're going to take a quick. Hey, Marlene. How are you, honey? Welcome, welcome. Give me a favor. Do me a favor, guys. Give me 1 moment, okay? Commercial break.
You are watching Diva Divine Light.
You can fuck with me if these red bottoms, these bloody shoes. Hit the scoop, I can get them both. I don't want to choose, and I'm quick. Cut a nigga off, so don't get comfortable. Look, I don't dance now, I make money move. Now I gotta dance, I make money move. If I see you now, that means I don't fuck with you. I'm a boss, you a worker, bitch. I make bloody move. Now she say, gon' do what or who? Let's find out and see. Cardi B, you know where I'm at, you know where I be. Just a party, I'm there, I can play. I be in and out the gang so much, I know they tired of me. Honest.
You are watching Diva Divine Light.
You can fuck with me if these red bottoms, these bloody shoes. Hit the scoop, I can get them both. I don't want to choose, and I'm quick. Cut a nigga off, so don't get comfortable. Look, I don't dance now, I make money move. Now I gotta dance, I make money move. If I see you now, that means I don't fuck with you. I'm a boss, you a worker, bitch. I make bloody move. Now she say, gon' do what or who? Let's find out and see. Cardi B, you know where I'm at, you know where I be. Just a party, I'm there, I can play. I be in and out the gang so much, I know they tired of me. Honest.
You are watching Diva Divine Light, Light, Light.
You can fuck with me if these red bottoms, these bloody shoes. Hit the scoop, I can get them both. I don't want to choose, and I'm quick. Cut a nigga off, so don't get comfortable. Look, I don't dance now, I make money move. Now I gotta dance, I make money move. If I see you now, that means I don't fuck with you. I'm a boss, you a worker, bitch. I make bloody move. Now she say, gon' do what or who? Let's find out if you Cardi B. You know where I'm at, you know where I be. Just a party, I'm there, I can play. I be in and out the bank so much, I know they tired of me. Honest, honest.
You are watching Diva Divine Light, Light, Light.
You can fuck with me if these red bottoms, these bloody shoes. Hit the scoop, I can get them both. I don't want to choose, and I'm quick. Cut a nigga off, so don't get comfortable. Look, I don't dance now, I make money move. Now I gotta dance, I make money move. If I see you now, that means I don't fuck with you. I'm a boss, you a worker, bitch. I make bloody move. Now she say, gon' do what or who? Let's find out if you Cardi B. You know where I'm at, you know where I be. Just a party, I'm there, I can play. I be in and out the bank so much, I know they tired of me. Honest, honest.
You are watching Diva Divine Light, Light, Light.
You can fuck with me if these red bottoms, these bloody shoes. Hit the scoop, I can get them both. I don't want to choose, and I'm quick. Cut a nigga off, so don't get comfortable. Look, I don't dance now, I make money move. Now I gotta dance, I make money move. If I see you now, that means I don't fuck with you. I'm a boss, you a worker, bitch. I make bloody move. Now she say, gon' do what or who? Let's find out if you Cardi B. You know where I'm at, you know where I be. Just a party, I'm there, I can play. I be in and out the bank so much, I know they tired of me. Honest, honest.
You are watching Diva Divine Light, Light, Light.
You can fuck with me if these red bottoms, these bloody shoes. Hit the scoop, I can get them both. I don't want to choose, and I'm quick.
Sorry, guys, back from a commercial break. Well, I just finished serving dinner to me and the family. So we're going to take a little break. All right. And we are going to have an open panel in the moment. So far, if anyone would like to come up and share some stuff, your feelings about what you guys just saw, what you guys just heard, I dropped the link in the chat. It is pinned to the chat. The StreamYard link is pinned to the chat. Okay. So while I'm eating, we can chat. All right. I don't want to be reading and eating at the same time and being rude. You know what I mean? So I figured maybe now we can, if anybody wants to jump up in the moment and have a quick little conversation while I'm eating, please feel free. Warrior, if you're still in there, Hey Sin, how are you, honey?
Still got a little kick.
Oh boy. Warrior, if you're in here, you said to show text message. What was it again? Line. I missed it. You put it in here. Where is it? Oh, 65.95. Okay. Let's look at 65.95. Okay, so that's way down. Okay. All right. So 65.95 is right here. Okay. Wait. All right. Here we go. This is line 65.95. Line 65.95. True Strong Warrior was saying that they're saying that the father didn't know. But here it says, do not send shit to ICE. Don't use the group chat. Just use the one for me and your dad. So now, when Alice had stated this was at 8:42 in the morning on April 30th. Okay? Which is 2 days after Azriel was sent to California. Okay? Two days after Azriel was sent to California, Mom Dukes was like, good morning. How was your workout? Wait, a minute.
Yeah, I need some of this.
I am, you're very right.
Sorry.
Mom Dukes hits up the daughter at 6:46 a.m. on May 30th. I mean, on April 30th. And she starts off by telling her, good morning. How was your workout? Did you get to the studio? Azriel didn't respond. The mother hit her back up at 8:16 in the morning and said, you could have at least texted me that you made it to your room safe and sound. Oh, made it to your room safe and said good night. And then a few minutes later, 8:42, she hits her back up and says, do not send shit to ICE. Don't use the group chat. Just use the one for me and your dad. And then she says to her at 8:45, 3 minutes later, and texts her and says, delete that group chat out your phone. Then at 11:15 a.m., she texts her almost 3 hours later and tells her, "You're not up yet?" Now remember, as Riel was going to LA on the 29th, the 28th, the arrangements were made for tomorrow, which was the 29th, right? So this would be the following day on the 30th. So she's still with Rkelly. And the mom's telling her, delete that group chat out your phone. Now, I wonder, did Rkelly ever get to see these text messages? Because I say to myself, if he did, this is probably how he got his ideas to spin his little narrative for the collateral letters that he needed Azriel to write for him. Think about it. Mm-mm-mm.
I got 36.8 mil on my fucking chest.
What?
I got 36.8 mil on my chest. 3 keys.
So where was I? Okay. Back to the coercion. And when you say that he said that he wanted to teach you a few techniques, what type of techniques did you understand him to be referring to? Jane says, musical techniques to help me better myself. She said, as a singer? She said, yes. The prosecutor said, what happened after he said that? She said, after he said that, we did the same thing. And he did, in fact, give me a few techniques. So, oh, we got a new one. So then she says, you go, baby. You go. Ooh, 1 billion. Sorry, y'all. So, Jane says, after he said that, we did the same thing. And he did, in fact, give me a few techniques. Now, the prosecutor says, and when you said you did the same thing, what are you referring to? She said, Jane said, oral sex. He needed to ejaculate before anything. She said, the prosecutor says, did he give you oral sex? Mr. Canick said, objection! The judge said, overruled. Then Jane says, I don't remember. I believe, well, like eating my butt. Yes. She said, are you saying you don't remember where specifically he gave you oral sex on what part of your body? And Mr. Canick says, Your Honor, may we approach briefly, very briefly? The judge said, sure. Do you need the court reporter? Mr. Canick said, hopefully not. The judge said, well, let's have her come over just in case. Mr. Canick said, okay. So now, Mr. Canick had the nerve Mr. Canick had the nerve to object to that. Now, what did Warrior say? What did you say, Warrior? Right, that's what I'm saying. I think he saw these text messages. That's why he decided to spin a narrative the way he wanted to spin it. I'll tell you, Rkelly's a slick motherfucker. Rkelly is slick. He know what he doing. Remember, they said he's a functioning illiterate. So now, Mr. Canick decides to go at a sidebar and say, Your Honor, I don't understand. I'm objecting to questions that I think are leading. This is a very crucial witness. I think we should be getting her testimony, and the court is overruling those objections. I don't want to continue to object if you're going to overrule them, but I just need to know the rationale. Auntie Anne was like, well, my general policy is I don't look back on rulings, but I will surely explain it to you. She said that the same thing happened this time as had happened before. And the follow-up was somewhat leading, but it was based on her answer that the same thing had happened before, which she had described earlier. So, while it was technically leading, it wasn't leading in a way that was unfair. That's the basis for my ruling. And I don't, as a practical matter, I don't understand you to be doing this either. It's that every technical violation requires some kind of a curative instruction. This witness is pretty much describing things that happened. If there is real leading going on, I will sustain it, as I think I've done before. But I think a little bit of leading to move it along when it's already been established what she was talking about is not a problem. So that's what I'm doing. And Mr. Canick said, the last question was not the one that I really was bothered by in terms of the court's ruling. It was the question before that. I just think that there's some crucial things in terms of the judge said, what was this topic? Mr. Canick said, I'm old, Judge. I don't remember the topic. The judge said, not as old as I am, and I remember the topic. It was describing the nature of the sexual contact, and that's specifically why I didn't sustain the objection, because she said the same thing happened in this instance as happened in Florida. And so that, to me, is not the kind of thing that requires any kind of a curative instruction. Mr. Canick said, I wouldn't want one. Judge said, all right, so that's the basis for the ruling. So why don't we move on? Oh, man, he just did that to do that because he didn't want them to hear it again that he did the same thing twice in another state. He went from Florida to LA and did the same thing to the girl, groomed her. Rkelly was grooming her. Okay. So let's get out of that. I'm not going to continue to read that. Okay. So now Ms. Geddes gets back to questioning her, and she says, while you're with the defendant in Los Angeles, what, if anything else, did the defendant describe to you? Now, Jane says, pertaining to what? The prosecutor said, do you recall the nature of your communication with the defendant while you were with him in Los Angeles, aside from the sexual contact that you just described? She said, yes. Ms. Geddes says, what were they about? Now, Jane says, musical conversations. And go ahead. In which he was like teaching me techniques. And what, if any, guidelines did the defendant describe to you about the time that you might spend with the defendant? She says, I don't understand what you're asking me. Then Ms. Geddes says, I'd like to show the witness only what's been marked for identification as 233D. So Ms. Geddes says, does reading 233D refresh your recollection about other topics that the defendant raised while you were with him in Los Angeles? She said, it does, yes. She said, what do you recall the defendant telling you? She says, he had mentioned rules. And what did you understand? What are you referring to by rules? She says, Jane says, it was a protocol that he went by and rules that I would have to abide by while in his presence. Ms. Geddes says, what, if any, rules do you recall the defendant telling you? She said, based off of this piece of evidence, my wardrobe and how I dressed. Ms. Geddes says, and what did you understand the defendant to be telling you about your wardrobe? She said, I had worn black tights and a brown shirt, and he did not like that. Now, Mr. Canick objects again. The judge said, overruled. What makes you say that? And Jane says, the judge asks Jane, what makes you say that? And then Jane says, because he had asked me to change, And that was the beginning of the very first rule that he had addressed me about. Okay? So now they're going to talk about the dress and all of that, but we're not going to get into that. Okay. All right, so now Ms. Geddes asks her, while you were in the hotel room that you were staying, was the defendant always with you? She says, no, he was not. So what, if anything, did you do when the defendant was not with you in the hotel room? She said, I would just wait in the hotel room. Why did you stay in the hotel room? She said, he had expressed to me to let him know anytime I did leave or where I was going. She said, what, if anything, did you understand the defendant wanted you to call him? She said, he wanted me to call him Daddy. Then the government showed the witness identification to 33D. Okay, which is something that she was just looking at, right? Now, Ms. Getty says, do you recognize what that is? She says, yes, I do. She said, generally, what is it? She said, this is a conversation between me and my mother. And what is the date of that conversation? She said, April 29th of 2015. So now she's going into the text messages for the 29th, where she was conversating with her mom. Now, Ms. Geddes asked her, and generally speaking, what are you guys talking about? And Jane said, I'm telling her that he is talking about rules and that he told me to change. You ate it all? Good.
It had a kick to it and I liked it.
Oh, good. The government offers 233D. The judge said, any objection? Mr. Canick said no. The judge said, okay, that'll be put into evidence. Okay. So that conversation was put into evidence. Now, all right. And where my pen is indicating, is that where you were telling your mom that the defendant was talking about the rules? She says, yes. Ms. Getty said, I'm showing the witness only what's been marked for identification as 233E. Do you recognize what's shown in 233E? She said, I do, yes. Ms. Getty says, generally speaking, what are those? She said, this is a conversation between me and my mother. And what is the date of that conversation? She said, April 29th of 2015. And are these the text messages between your mother and you? She says, yes, they are. And what are you discussing with your mother in those text communications? She says, I am expressing to her that he has me in sweats. Okay. So what date was this again, guys? The 29th. Let's go to the 29th. Okay, let's see. All right, so this was the 29th. Okay, so here, okay. Okay. Now in line 6621 on April 29th, 2015 at 11:46 p.m., mom hits up the daughter and says, "You ready?" Not real loud or hard unless the song requires it or he wants it. So, what happened when he saw you today? How was he acting towards you? Then Azriel responds, Jane Doe 5 responds and says, "He was happy, and I know, Ma, but he got me in sweats, laughing my ass off. He ain't like my tights showing my figure." Then mom says, "Wow, really? Girl, you better bring it. This your chance. Granny looking out for you from above, so you better wow his ass. She always wanted to be a singer. That might be why you're the only one that can sing. She probably begged God, so he went and got you some sweats." Then Jane says, "Yeah, laughing my ass off. And let's hope so." Then mom says, "No matter what happens, I'm still proud of you. Just remember age and don't accept failure." I guess she meant no matter what happened, I'm still proud of you. Just remember. Oh, maybe she meant to say as and don't accept failure. I don't know. Then she says to her, "So was he really glad to see you? Asked you for a hug and stuff, or kind of just hi? Tell him I said hi. Well, good night, Ladybug. Do your thing. And if just have you perform, then put on a show. Remember this woman's work. Pretty hurts. All about that bass. Prince, if you do intimate like a seductive lap dance and Jessie J, your best songs, bring it. Good night. Love ya." Okay. So that's where they were proving that at that point. All right. Um, okay, so now the prosecutor says, "Do you recall what, if anything, the defendant told you about the value of your trip to Los Angeles?" She said, "No." She said, "I am showing the witness only what's been marked for identification as 233F. by Miss Getty. She says, generally, what is shown in 233F? Jane says, it is basically me texting my mother about a conversation that I had with the defendant. She says, and what is the date of these text messages sent to your mom? She said, May the 1st of 2015. Now the government is offering exhibit 233F. Mr. Kanik had no objection. Now that was received into evidence. Now Ms. Getty asks, can you just read the text message at the bottom, please? Jane says, he just texts me. He said, although he isn't with me, this wasn't a waste of trip. He said I should take this time to try and ease my mind and soak in everything he's been telling me. So when I actually go into this industry, I'll have a mature frame already. Like I said, he was grooming her. That's what he wanted, to make sure he groomed her for the industry, quote unquote, so she could have a mature frame already. Now, Ms. Getty says, and the he in that text message, who are you referring to? She said the defendant. And when you reference this industry, what industry are you referring to? She said the music industry. And finally, when you said, although he isn't with me, this wasn't a waste of trip. What trip are you referring to? She said, me going out to LA. She said, now, you initially flew to Los Angeles. Did you stay in Los Angeles, or did you visit other cities during that trip? She said, I ended up getting stuck out there and going to multiple cities with the defendant. Now, why did she end up getting stuck out there? The parents had no money to fly her back? This was May 1st. Then she says, how did you travel from city to city with the defendant? She said, he had his assistant book flights and the entire itinerary. Do you know how the defendant traveled between cities? She says, he did express that he did not fly because of his fear and that he traveled by tour bus. The prosecutor said, do you remember where you were? Do you remember where you went after Los Angeles? She said, I do not. Then Ms. Getty shows her identification as to 233Q. She asked her, do you recognize it? She said, yes, she does. She said, what is shown there? She said, it's a conversation between me and his assistant, Cheryl. And I'm telling her exactly what the defendant told me to say. Ms. Getty says, which is what? Jane said that Mr. Kelly said to get me to Stockton, California. And what is the date? Are those text messages between you and Cheryl Mack? She said, yes. She said, what are the dates of those text messages? She said, May 1st of 2015. So the government offers 233Q. All right. Now the text messages are May 1st. May 1st. Let's see where they are. May 1st. Okay. So here we start with the assistant line number 6519. On May 1st of 2015 at 3:37 p.m., this is where Jane says, Mr. Kelly said, get me to Stockton, California, and to his show tonight. Laughing my ass off. She sends this to mom. She says, Ma, laughing my ass off. I'm finna be on my way to Stockton, California. Got a 5-hour trip. Then mom says, so you are going to the concert? I told you. Oh my God, exciting. You riding on the tour bus? Okay, I will get it scheduled. Then, okay, an incoming call. That's from Cheryl Mack. She said, okay, I will get it scheduled. She finally answered her back because she called her at 3:37 p.m. to get her to Stockton. And then at 3:57 p.m., about 20 minutes later, she hit up Azriel back and said to her, okay, I will get it scheduled. And then Jane said, thank you. And then the assistant says, because of the time frame, I'm going to send an Uber car from your airport drop-off. Can you be ready by 2 p.m.? And she told, I'm ready now. Just let me know when the car is at the hotel. So now she's at one hotel going to another hotel. Or from the airport to the hotel, right? Let me finish my last spoon, guys. So there goes those messages, right? So now, the prosecutor asks her, after reviewing 233Q, do you recall where you went after Los Angeles? And she said to Stockton, California. So she went from Los Angeles, California to Stockton, California. She said, and who made those travel reservations for you? His assistant, Cheryl Mack. Now, do you remember where you stayed in Stockton? She said, I do not. Now, Ms. Getty shows her an exhibit 233R. Now, what is 233R? Jane says, it is Cheryl sending me my itinerary of where I would be staying. Ms. Getty says, in Stockton, California? She said, yes. So now Ms. Getty's puts in the exhibit for 233R. There's no objections. Okay. Now she asks Jane, where were you going to be staying? Where were you going to be staying in Stockton? She said, at the Residence Inn. She said, now do you remember what you did once you arrived in Stockton, California? She said, I do not. She said, why were you in Stockton, California? She said, I was there to see the defendant for a show that he had. And did you go to the show in Stockton, California? She said, I did, yes. And then she shows her another exhibit, which is 220. She asked her if she recognized what it was. She said, yes, I do. She said, what is that? She said, that is a ticket stub of the show that I went to in California, Stockton. And is that also dated May 1st of 2015? She said it is. Yes. Now she says, now after the concerts, do you recall seeing the defendant that evening? She said, I do, yes. And do you remember what your hotel room looked like where you stayed in Stockton? She said, I do. I remember that the room was a suite that had a fireplace in it. And what, if anything, do you recall happening? Did you see the defendant at the hotel room? She said, I did, yes. In Stockton, California. She said, I did, yes. She said, what do you recall happening in Stockton, California? She said, this was the first time that I had vaginal penetration with the defendant. And by vaginal penetration, what do you mean? She said, we had sexual intercourse. So the first 2 times in Florida at the Dolphin, and then in Los Angeles, he only had oral sex with her. He didn't actually penetrate her yet. He only had oral sex with her. Okay? But when they got to their third destination, for the third time that she met up with him, she was in Stockton, California. And that was the first time that she had vaginal penetration with the defendant. Happy birthday, my sister, rocking with the truth. I love you, baby. Happy birthday, mama. Exactly, puzzle pieces. He was doing damage control. That's what he was doing. He was doing damage control. He wasn't as involved as the mom was. I'm telling you. Oh, yeah, I forgot to.
Roll the joint.
All right. Sorry, guys. I had to step off for a second. So, as you can see, she had actual vaginal intercourse with him when she was in Stockton, California. Now, this is supposed to be where she had gotten herpes, a herpes outbreak, while she was in Stockton. Now, The prosecutor asks her, was the defendant's penis inside your vagina? She said, yes, it was. And prior, or what, if any, type of contraception did the defendant use to your knowledge? She said he used none. And what, if anything, did the defendant tell you about any sexually transmitted diseases that he had? She said he never mentioned anything of that nature to me. Now, how is it that you recall that was the first time that you had sexual intercourse with the defendant? She said, I remember because the room that we were in, it had a kitchenette in it and it had a fireplace. And I had never been in a room that had a fireplace before in a suite. She said, do you recall what city you traveled to after Stockton, California? She said, I believe I went to Las Vegas. She says, and I am showing the government Exhibit 253A. She said, do you recognize? She said, I do. She said, what is it? She says, it is my flight confirmation to Sacramento. So now from Stockton, California, she went to Sacramento. And does it show? She said, so I'm sorry. Can you say what the flight travel plan was there? Jane says, yeah, it was me departing and going to Las Vegas. Yes. She said, the prosecutor said, so leaving Sacramento and going to Las Vegas. She said, yes. And who arranged this travel for you? She said, the defendant's assistant, Cheryl Mack. Here is the proof that he has his entourage, which consists of bodyguards, assistants, his entourage, his enterprise. This is his enterprise. Now, this is proof showing that he has his enterprise making travel arrangements for these girls who are underage. Why are they traveling? To be Rkelly's sex slave at the end of the night when he's done with his show, or in between the show, or before the show. He has to make sure he ejaculates. He has to release a nut before a show, in the middle of the show, after the show. He can't help himself. He's a hypersexual narcissist. Okay? All right. Oh. All right. So then now she asks her, do you remember the hotel that you were staying in when you got to Las Vegas? She said, yes, I do. What hotel was that? She said, I was staying at the Mandalay Bay. And do you recall what you did the first evening on May 2nd of 2015 when you arrived in Las Vegas? She said, yes, I wanted to go shopping and get food. And did you try to go shopping? She said, I did. Yes. What did you do? She said, I believe I had text his assistant asking where the nearest mall was. And when you say his assistant, who were you referring to? She said, Cheryl. Okay. Now the prosecutor says, and how did the defendant's assistant respond when you asked for the nearest mall? She said she asked me, had I let him know that I was leaving my room? She said, and by letting him know, what him are you referring to? She said, the defendant. She said, how did you respond? She said, I told her, no, I hadn't. Do you recall how the defendant's assistant responded when you said you had not told the defendant that you planned to go shopping? She said, I do not. She said, all right, I want to start by showing you government exhibit 233I. Do you recognize 233I? She said, yes, I do. What is that? This is a text message that I sent to my mother. On what date? She said, May the 3rd of 2015. Now let's see. May the 3rd of 2015. Let's see if we have those messages. Okay, now, May 3rd at 12:25 a.m. Jane says, I've just landed in LA. Do you know what gate I'm in for that flight? In the screenshot, it never said which gate. Never mind, I figured out the gate number. But do I take a taxi to the airport to my room? Cheryl Mack says, yes, and there is an envelope at the desk when you check in under your name for you to pay the taxi fee. Jane says, thank you. Cheryl says, safe travels. Then Jane said, thank you. If you're watching the fight, please let me know who won. This is what she said to the assistant. The assistant said, okay. And then Mom Dukes. Now, in here, she was saying about Mom Dukes, right? She said, she says, yes, I do. What is that? This is a text message that I sent to my mother. On what date? May 3rd, 2015. Okay. Then she says, can you read the text message that you sent to your mom? She says, yes. It says, everyone's having fun. And Kel said, do not leave the room. All right. So now Jane hits up the mom on May 3rd at 12:51 a.m. and says to mom, don't think I'll be able to go to Rkelly's show tomorrow. She says, gotta be 18 or older. I'm not. Then mom hits her up on that day at 1:44 in the morning and says, oh my God, are you okay? Did you make it to your room? Hello? Where did you hear that? Are you okay? Who told you that? To be honest, I think all his shows require you to be 18, so I'm not sure why you're worried. Mom says, call me. Then Jane hits back mom at 2:30 in the morning and says, no, told you I land at 11, and no, they checking. I'd at King of Blues or wherever. Mom says, oh, did he tell you that? Jane says, no, I saw online. Mom says, well, tell him you're sick. Jane said, laughing my ass off. Then Jane says to mom, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I guess she put a bunch of probably laughing emojis or something or whatever. Then mom says, I don't think you need to show ID because you're his guest. Then Jane says, laughing my ass off, I guess. Why you up? I've safely landed, waiting on a taxi to get to the hotel now. This wait is like an hour for taxis. Oh my God. Then mom says, didn't watch the fight. Your father made me mad talking shit after I cleaned before everyone came. You know how he liked to show off around people. So I was in my room. He got mad because I didn't come back downstairs. I fell asleep. So now I'm awake. So then Jane says to mom, who all came? And wow, that's crazy. Don't worry. Me and Kels missed it too. Well, now you can talk to me. And then mom says, Denny, Mr. Angelo, Dennis, his friend Vicky, Miss Nikki, and Maurice. Oh, well, now you can talk to me, boo. He left me room service to order whatever I want. Guess he figured I was hungry. And May 3rd, mom says, what you gonna do about tomorrow? She says, Jane says, I don't know, shaking my head. Leave my ID and not mention it? I can't drink regardless. So mom says, so you at your room? Jane says, nope, waiting for the driver. Then mom says, so where he at? He missed the fight too? Jane said, yeah, he's driving here. And then mom says, he's still on the road? I told you traffic would be terrible. He probably stopped somewhere and watched it. I heard Floyd won. Okay, so was that said? Okay. So then Jane says, yeah, he did win. And I don't know. I texted him and said, dang, we missing the fight. He said, well, we'll just watch the headlights. Then mom says, so did y'all kiss yet? You mean highlights? Then Jane says, we might tonight, but what happens in Vegas, baby, stays in Vegas. And this girl isn't even 18 yet. And her mother's like, yeah. So did y'all kiss yet? The daughter's like, we might tonight, but what happens in Vegas, baby, stays in Vegas. Then mom says, yeah, your father petty ass didn't even wake me for the fight. Laugh out loud. That's why you keep saying that. Yeah, he was trying to get some when he was wrestling. Oldest trick in the book. Laugh out loud. Well, I hope don't nothing happen. Steve Harvey say make him wait at least 3 months. Oh my God. This is just so gross right now. The mom's telling her, your father always has some type of way to try to get me in bed, and that's by play fighting. That's the oldest trick of the book he got. That's crazy. What? And then mom says, well, I hope nothing happens. Like she hopes that they don't kiss, that nothing happens. And that Steve Harvey had said to make a man wait 3 months. They will respect you. And then the mom says, How you gonna feel going from lavish lifestyle to normal? What? Like I said, the mom had a lot to do with this. It was more the mom that pushed than the father did. I'm sorry. This is what I'm seeing. It's what I'm seeing. Hey, Wings. What's up, lady? How are you, baby? Good to see you, mama. So then the mom says, then Jane says, I know. And I'm going to feel sad, to be honest. I'm going to just work harder. I'm right across from the pyramid. Mom says, you said he got 3 phones. Jane says, yeah, I know. Then mom says, so now he will have 4. I'm tripping. That didn't make sense. So how you like your room? Do you have Stewie song on your phone? Y'all duet? I didn't even eat. Then Jane says, how will he have 4 and go eat? I'm on my way to my room. Mom says, he won't. I was having a blonde moment. Laugh out loud. Tonight and the last few weeks, I've been thinking hard. Just watch this movie. Messed me up because I'm going to realize I need to make some changes. I always said when you start college, I would leave. I only stuck around because of y'all. So you were the last one, and I had to worry about. Thought I was going to have to take care of Avion, but that's not an issue. So I got to do me. I've been taking bullshit for too long. And then she goes on and on and on to rant about her life, right? So now she says, it says, everyone's having fun. And Kel said, do not leave that room. Who's Kel? The defendant. Is that a nickname for the defendant? She said, yes, I'm showing. And what are you referring to when you said Kel said, do not leave that room? She said, my hotel room, meaning I could not leave. And who told you you couldn't leave? She said, the defendant. Then she's going to show her identification as to 233J. I'm showing the witness only what's been marked as 233G. Do you recognize 233G? She said, yes. What is shown in 233G? She said, this is a conversation between me and his assistant, Cheryl. And what is the conversation about? She said, me wanting to go to the mall. Is this the conversation you were just describing a moment ago? She said, yes, it is. And she offers exhibit 233G. Now, she says, can you read to the jury the text in corresponding to this entry 5837? So let's see, 5837, huh? Oh, I think I might be going. And what was it again? 5837? 5837. Okay. 5837. Okay, here we go. 5837 is from Cheryl Mack. And it was incoming. So Cheryl Mack says, trying to figure it out. Is Mr. Kelly okay with you going out of the room? It's very hectic out. Then Jane says, I didn't ask him, and if you can't get it, it's fine. I'll just chill inside because the taxi lines are hectic. Thank you for the help. Okay. So that is that. All right. So, like I said, all right. So, all right. Let me see how long I've been on right now. Let me see what you guys are saying as well. We've been on for 3.5 hours. Hey, K-Love. What's up, mama? What's up? You just got off work, Wings? Okay. Good to see you, mama. All right, so guys, I'm going to leave it here and we'll continue another day. You guys know that this is a lot of reading, so we can go back and forth and keep going through it until I'm done with it. Or we can just leave it right here and end it where it's at. Because at the end of the day, Levi, he's not getting out on none of this. This is not happening.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to leave you guys with Levi responding to me and Oak Cove and anybody else that's against Rkelly. So let's start here. I'm going to leave you guys with that. Now, the name of this video was called Why Jane's Father is Using His Pawns. Now, let me tell you something, Levi. I am not a pawn for Angelo. Okay? Never was. I only supported the family for what they were going through. That's it. Support. Be there for them any way I could, as a friend and as a person who is out here trying to give information to the people about the Rkelly case and letting people know that Rkelly is a predator. And what were his shenanigans and things of this nature. So let's see what Levi has to say.
Discussing what these corrupt parents did, it somehow taints what this is what Diva said today. And Diva, you're welcome to come in and defend yourself. She says, well, what about the other victims, Levi? Wait, hold on. What about the other victims, Levi? Listen, it just don't go that way. The prosecutors have an opportunity. They have a chance. They only have one bite at the apple. And if they want to put rotten apples in the barrel when they present them their case, and it's discovered that these were 2 rotten apples in the barrel, not a whole barrel is spoiled, Miss Diva.
Levi. The one rotten apple in this case does not spoil it for the bunch. This is not a barrel of fruits. Okay, Levi? You're talking apples and oranges. Stop it. Just because you assume that the father is behind the setup of Rkelly because Rkelly's so innocent, but people are setting him up. Go figure that, right? Okay. So, no, Levi. Levi, no. How you gonna come out and say some shit like that to me Boy, get the. Let me rewind that a little bit. Hold on.
Your little ring, and oh hell no, ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. Either you gonna come on down and
Tell
say
it.
the truth, and that's right that man set that man up, or please, I ain't dealing with nothing else. But you have the floor, Sky. I'm gonna address Ms. Walker after you speak because I want to explain something to her, and I want everybody to listen to what I'm about to say to Ms. Walker. Is going to be breaking.
Can't get mad because they live in a fantasy world.
Yeah.
And we actually, I was on live longer than I expected to be, but we talked about this in regards to people supporting victimization. When you support that, everything around you has to support that, and you can't even hear any logic, any reason, or anything that's going to sway away from your support of victimization. And that's just what those people are. That's what we're dealing with. So we're not dealing with truthful people. We're not dealing with people who.
Okay, so I'm not truthful in the opinions that I give according to what I see in front of me as evidence. Are you kidding me? What? Sky, sit your ass down, girl. Okay, so you have blinders on too. You see, because you support people who abuse people. It's okay to you as long as they wanted to be there. It's okay that they were abused. It's their fault because that's what people like you do. Blame the victims instead of blaming the victimizer, the abuser. Because all you see is the abuser and how good of a person he is. Right? So you're down for that cause and I'm down for the victims. What are you trying to say? You sound stupid. Shut the fuck up. Seriously. Girl, get a grip.
Have good morals, have integrity, and just don't deal in real life facts. And
I don't deal with real morals and integrities and what? What? Girl.
Situations. Everything is a fairy tale because they live in a fairy tale world.
Oh, everything is a fairy tale because we live in a fairy tale world. So we're in a fairy tale world of R. Kelly. That's where we are. In a fairy tale world that you people are creating for R. Kelly because you want to spin narratives to try to free a man who's not fucking innocent. He's guilty of sex trafficking. He's guilty of making child pornography. He's guilty of sexually exploiting these girls. He's guilty of using forced labor to get what he wants. He's guilty of grooming children. He's guilty of grooming his own staff. He's guilty of persuading and inducing and enticing and coercing people. He ain't innocent of shit. Stop it. He's guilty 2 times convicted. 30 years. He's lucky he got that. He shouldn't be fucking complaining. He should be embracing this shit. learning his life lesson for the bullshit he did and the hurt and the pain that he has caused many people in his life for around 30 years. I think he's comfortable where the fuck he's at.
You know, when you have things that are tangible and concrete, that's why a lot of things that I say, I have to straddle the fence in between the text messages and the transcripts. You know, always understanding based on the interviews that I've heard, you know, outside of that, but you have to have some type of tangible information to, you know, to reference.
And that's what we do over here. Tangible evidence. There's lots of tangible evidence that has been referenced over here. And there was tangible evidence that was referenced and displayed at trial. So what the fuck are we talking about here?
Reference points. But when you're dealing with people like that, they can't. They have to, it has to be in the realm of Kels did something wrong. I'm a victim. Everybody's doing something to me. I've done nothing wrong. I have no accountability in what is going on. I'm not responsible. All I know is I went in this room and boom, something happened to me.
Yeah, that's basically it. Boom. Went into a room and something happened to me. When a person says no or a person doesn't respond, it doesn't mean yes. If I don't respond, that doesn't mean for a man to take advantage of me. No means no. And if I don't say anything, that doesn't mean I consented to sex. You fucking sound stupid, Sky.
So that's what we're dealing with, you know. So when you understand the type of people you're dealing with, you know, you really can't get mad because they live in a fantasy world.
Yes, what I do is try to logically. As a matter of fact, I don't know why Okov, Ty, a lot of Okov members be in my thing, but they don't want to hit the thing. Where's the TSW or something? Come in and say,
yeah, y'all come into the.
I don't want to hit the thing. Let me tell you why I don't want to hit the thing, Levi. I'm still blocked on your fucking channel. I'm still blocked. Why would I want to go and hit your thing on your thing when I'm blocked? Fuck that shit. If I can't get in the chat, I'm not going up on your motherfucking panel. Period. I don't know why you blocked me or who the fuck blocked me. Whoever got me blocked, unblock me. Maybe then I'll go up on your panel and answer any fucking question when I'm there.
Hit the link.
In your position. Hit the link. Hit the link. But listen, what I find with Okov,
what do you find with
is that here's the deal. And I've heard I dipped in on Diva's channel earlier and she said it. And Diva, if you're here, you're more than welcome to come in because I want you to explain your position. See, Scott.
Explain my position. I don't need to explain shit. The text messages, the transcripts, all the evidence explains everything. I ain't got to explain a position for shit. My position is Rkelly is fucking guilty. Period. He's doing the crime. He's doing the time. Period. I ain't got to explain shit. Right now, I'm going through the transcripts to go over them so you people can understand what happened. So you people can understand the charges and the nature of the case. Child exploitation, sexual exploitation of a minor, child pornography, coercion, enticement, producing, persuading, grooming, abuse, physical, mental, emotional, verbal. This man was taking in girls that he knew he could take advantage of. Young girls. Girls that he knew that he could grasp by saying, playing the violin and saying, I was abused as a child. So at the end of the day, don't feel like you were abused because I was abused. We could be abused together. But yet Skylife is talking about victimhood and victimization and fucking the other that fat fucking turkey neck bitch over there too. Talking shit about victimhood. What about R. Kelly crying victimhood? He's crying victimhood now. But y'all want to complain about victims? Look at fucking R. Kelly. Get the fuck out of here.
I try to disarm people. I do. Logically, not deceitfully. But
no, deceitfully, Levi. Deceitfully. Everybody who is out here protecting R. Kelly is doing shit deceitfully. Ain't nobody fucking telling the truth. Because nobody was there. None of you motherfuckers were there to say R. Kelly's telling the truth. We weren't there to say that the girls were telling the truth. We're just going by tangible evidence. What's in our fucking face. That's what we go by. And everything points to that motherfucker being guilty. Period. And he's never fucking getting out of jail until his release date of 2045. Get over it.
If your position is weak, come on, let's talk about it. And I'm going to show you where it's weak. Now, this is the problem I have. Now, I've already explained with Keller.
I want you to show me where this case is weak at, Levi. I want you to show me where this case is weak. Because I just read a bunch of shit that proves that R. Kelly had an enterprise, moving parts. It proved that R. Kelly was persuading, inducing, enticing, coercing, sexual exploitation. We haven't even gotten to the pornography part yet. Let's knock it the fuck off. R. Kelly's guilty. Period. And I'm going to stop this right there because I'm getting upset. And I don't want to be screaming into this shit. So, Levi, spare me the bullshit. Sky and Ham Hock over there, spare me the bullshit. Fucking the Joker, spare me the bullshit. Fucking the super fan, spare me the bullshit. The fucking Betty Crocker bitch, spare me the bullshit. All you motherfuckers, spare me the bullshit. Please. Enough. And on that note, please make sure you hit the like button before you leave me. Thank you, guys. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends about me. Share the live. Please. Thank you. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. If you're an R. Kelly supporter, make your comment respectful so it doesn't get deleted. Thank you. Have a nice day, guys. And your girl, Diva Divine Light, is out. Peace.
You are watching Diva Divine Light.
You can fuck with me if these red bottoms, these bloody shoes. Hit the scoop, I can get them both. I don't want to choose, and I'm quick. Cut a nigga off, so don't get comfortable. Look, I don't dance now, I make money move. Now I gotta dance, I make money move. If I see you now, that means I don't fuck with you. I'm a boss. niggas Cardi B. You know where I'm at, you know where I be. Just a party, I'm there, I can play. I be in and out the game so much, I know they tired of me.